You ever have that one moment where everything in your life detonates in slow motion and you can only watch with popcorn? That was me at my sister's engagement party when Chase, my ex, decided to perform the most spectacular act of jealousy I've ever seen. He stormed into the rooftop lounge in Chicago like a storm cloud wearing too much cologne, eyes blazing, voice raised for maximum drama, and announced loud enough for the whole crowd that I was sleeping with someone from work. He even waved his phone like it was a subpoena and yelled that he had proof. You could feel the room freeze. Fork stopped mid-air. Brianna, my sister, went pale, and my mother's face looked like someone had just told her the wedding was canceled. The guests stared between us, whispering and waiting for a show. Chase kept ranting because insecure men love the sound of their own voices, building a whole soap opera plot about betrayal and moral justice. He thought he was making me look guilty. What he didn't know was that I'd already rewritten the script. Right when he hit peak volume, the DJ, God bless him, pressed play on a playlist I'd slipped him earlier. From the speakers came Chase's own voice, crystal clear. A voice memo he'd recorded 2 nights before, practicing his big exposure. He was ranting to himself about how he'd message my boss, how he'd take me down, how he was going to make everyone see what kind of liar she is. The crowd went silent. Then came the laughter, low at first, then rolling through the room. Chase froze. He realized too late that his own words were blasting through the speakers, outing him as the psycho ex plotting revenge. Phones came out, people started recording, he turned crimson. It was the best kind of chaos, the kind where you don't have to say a word because the idiot does it all for you. And that's how Chase's little show backfired so perfectly. But that wasn't the end. That was just the trailer. Wait until you hear the whole thing. Okay, rewind. I'm Riley, 31, born and raised in Chicago, working in marketing for a mid-sized tech company downtown. I drink too much coffee, own too many plans, and have a bad habit of dating men who treat jealousy like a personality trait. Chase was Exhibit A. When we first met, he was charming, funny in that boy next door way, always texting good morning, remembering how I take my coffee, showing up with small gifts just because. For the first 6 months, I thought I'd found someone solid. Then the real Chase appeared. It started small, questions about where I was going, who I was with, why a male coworker liked my post. Then came the location tracking for safety, the password sharing for trust, and the emotional guilt trips when I tried to set boundaries. He said he'd been hurt before. Yeah, by his own ego. Eventually, the insecurity turned into control. He'd sulk if I went out with friends, scroll through my texts while pretending to look for memes, and accuse me of flirting because a barista smiled at me. I should have ended it right there. But when you're tired and hopeful at the same time, you start bargaining with yourself. Maybe he'll get better. Maybe it's just stress. Maybe I'm overreacting. Spoiler, I wasn't. Things escalated when I started getting weird emails at work. One was from a concerned coworker claiming someone was being unprofessional. The message said there was a private video of me with a colleague. HR called me in, awkward and apologetic. I knew exactly who was behind it. When I confronted Chase, he swore it wasn't him. "Why would I do that, Riley?" he said, all fake shock? Because he was a jealous control freak with too much time. That's why. I didn't have proof then, but I started keeping everything. Texts, screenshots, call logs. Not because I wanted revenge yet, but because I knew one day I might need receipts. Then came the final straw. He actually bragged that he hired a private investigator. Said he just wanted to know the truth. I remember laughing so hard I nearly spilled my wine. That was when the switch flipped. He wanted to play games. I'd show him how that ends. So, let's talk about Donnie, the investigator. If middle-aged desperation had a smell, it'd be Donnie's cologne. The man looked like he moonlighted as a used car salesman. Chase apparently told him to find proof of infidelity because that's the kind of sentence you only hear from a man who's already lost the argument. Donnie started tailing me. I'd catch him parked outside my office, pretending to read a newspaper like it was still 1999. He followed me to coffee shops, took blurry pictures from across the street, even called one of my friends by accident. He wasn't subtle. He was pathetic. So, I decided to have a little fun. I started staging my own scenes. Not illegal, just creative. One day at a coffee shop, I sat with my friend Tess and spoke loudly about how Chase probably had someone spying on me. We laughed about it, made a few jokes, even looked straight toward the car we knew was Donnie's. Another day, I left my phone unlocked playing voice memos about how my crazy ex might try to fabricate evidence. I wanted whoever was listening, Donnie, Chase, whoever, to hear exactly how ridiculous they sounded. Then came the charity gala. I went with coworkers wearing a slate blue dress that made me look like I had my life together, a lie, but a convincing one. I danced, I laughed, I posted one picture captioned, "Finally free," and made sure Chase would see it. That night, Donnie texted Chase, "Spotted Riley at gala. Seemed flirtatious. Will continue surveillance." That message was his undoing. Chase, seeing what he wanted to see, decided this was it. The smoking gun. He'd expose me publicly in front of my family just to humiliate me. Poor thing didn't realize he was walking right into the trap I'd been quietly building. The party was Brianna's engagement celebration, but I handled the music. I told her I'd take care of everything from the playlist to the DJ so she could relax. She had no idea I had an extra file tucked into that playlist and labeled "For Chase." See, months before, Chase had sent me a drunk voice memo. He was angry that I wouldn't pick up his calls. He slurred threats about teaching me a lesson, about emailing my boss, about how no one would believe me once he exposed me. I kept it because when someone shows you who they are, sometimes you hit save. Fast forward to the party. The skyline sparkled, the wine was flowing, everyone was laughing. Until Chase walked in like an unpaid actor in his own downfall. He pointed at me and shouted that I cheated. He started waving his phone again, claiming he had videos. Then I gave the DJ the signal. Suddenly, out of those beautiful rooftop speakers came Chase's own voice, blaring, "She's leading them on. I'll show them what she really is. I'm gonna email her boss tonight." You could hear forks clink against plates. He froze mid-sentence. The guest turned toward the speakers. Another clip played, him admitting he'd made up the HR stuff to teach me a lesson. It was glorious. People gasped, a few laughed, and one of my coworkers actually whispered, "Oh my God, is this real?" Chase's jaw dropped. His entire plan was unraveling publicly in real time. He tried to yell that it was fake, that I edited it, that I was manipulative, but no one bought it. His voice was too clear, his words too specific. My mom just sat back with her champagne like she was watching a live soap opera. When the audio ended, I looked him dead in the eye and said, "Next time you plan a public humiliation, maybe check who's holding the aux cord." That line still makes me smile. Chase stormed out, people talked for days, but for me, that was only round one. The next week, I went to work early, calm, focused, fully caffeinated. I walked straight to HR with a neatly organized folder, screenshots, messages, timestamps, and the very voice memos he'd sent me. I told them everything: the fake email, the stalking, the harassment. No drama, just facts. Kyle, my boss, was stunned. HR thanked me for coming forward. 2 days later, Chase got suspended pending investigation. Turns out, making false claims and sending anonymous accusations to your ex's workplace violates several company policies. Who knew? The petty satisfaction was delicious. His little plot to ruin me professionally ended up wrecking his own record instead. But I wasn't done. Oh no. While he was scrabbling to save face, deleting posts and pretending it was a misunderstanding, I decided to twist the knife just a little. Remember how he used to brag about his alma mater and that stupid alumni networking group he was obsessed with? I created a fake reunion event, completely harmless, mind you, and sent invites using his name as event organizer. Within hours, his inbox exploded with RSVP confirmations, questions about catering, and one guy offering to bring his guitar. Chase spent the whole day trying to explain it wasn't real. Petty? Absolutely. Satisfying? You bet. Soon his coworkers started avoiding him. He became that guy at the office, the one everyone knew had spiraled over an ex. HR's investigation wrapped up with a quiet note about professional misconduct. He wasn't fired immediately, but his career flatlined. Word travels fast in tech circles. And me? I moved on, peacefully. I started dating again months later, and this time I picked someone who doesn't need my location to feel secure. The final touch, I donated Chase's favorite leather jacket, the one he wore in every mirror selfie, to a thrift store. Sent a picture of it hanging on the rack to Tess with the caption, "Free to a better man." That was the real victory. So, what do you think? Was I out of line for letting Chase's own words take him down? Or was it the justice he had coming? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I really want to know how you would have handled it. And if you love stories where karma hits harder than revenge ever could, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another one. Trust me, the next story is even messier.